Hi guys, so in today's video I wanted to take you through the different platforms and tools that I use to research my investments. So this video is going to be in two parts. The first part, which is this one, is going to be about the different tools I use because a lot of people already know what they're looking for. So I'm going to do the tools first, and then within the next week or two, depending on a few things, I'm going to do a part 2 of this video, which is going to be the things that I look for. So it's important to remember that different investors look for different things in different companies. So what one person thinks is a good investment, another person might not, and it all depends on your strategy, your risk appetite, and the type of investor that you are. So now that I've got that disclaimer out of the way, I'm going to take you through some of the tools, that's the wrong wording, all of the tools that I use to research a company. The first and most important thing to note is that whilst it might seem like a lot of things that I go through here, I think it's really important to look at different sources of data. So for example, just because one app or website says that their analysts think that this stock is a buy, that doesn't mean I'm going to take that completely to heart and just go and buy it. I'm going to check it with other analyst ratings and other sentiments on other companies or other apps and websites, sorry. So I don't like looking at one website in isolation. So this is why you're going to hear about quite a few different things, so different companies, websites, apps that I use. That's not to say that I trawl through every single one of these every single time, but these are the ones that I use, and I'm well aware there are also other websites that I could use, and I'm gonna get there. For me, the ones that I use work well and I'm happy with, so I'm in no rush to add more to the list, but I do know there are a few that people have suggested to me that I'm keen on trying as well, so that's that. So the first one, and probably the most well-known, but I'm not sure if it's the most used, is simply Wall Street. So this is a paid-for service, and yes, I pay for it. I pay for it out of my own pocket. Just to be clear, I essentially used up I think they have like 10 free, oh my god, I'm missing words today, 10 free searches. And then you can't search anymore, and then you have to pay. So what I did was I basically kept thinking about it and going, it's a bit too expensive. And then in the end, it kept lowering the price for me. So I didn't pay the full price that you would get normally if you sign up straight away after your trial. I don't know if they're always going to sort of lower the price if you decide not to buy straight away, but that's what I did. So I think I paid about 60 something pounds for the year, which it's not cheap, but it's not like really bad considering the amount of data that you get here. I personally think it's totally worth it, and I don't actually have an affiliate link with them or anything. I genuinely just really like the website. So now that that's out of the way, let me show you what it looks like. So this is the main website when you go in. So you can see here it says my portfolio. This is obviously not my total portfolio. I do need to at some point go in and actually add all of my investments here, but so far this is just stuff I've added for the sake of it. You've got upcoming events, which I think is really, really cool. So upcoming earnings releases and ex-dividend dates for the month, which again, really, really cool feature. I know loads of people are keen on having ex-dividend dates showing, so here you go. You've got recently viewed here, so Unilever was the most recent one I looked at. And then my updates here, which essentially, and I think this is really, really cool, it basically updates you on news and things that you should note for the companies that you've got in your portfolio. Now that is bloody cool in my opinion. So you can see, for example, you've got earnings released, some news. Oh, look, a lawsuit. That's interesting. I need to read that. So yeah, Really cool. But the things that I really use is, for example, if we do go into Unilever, and you would have seen this if you've seen some of my previous videos, this is essentially the in-depth stock analysis. So you've got here like the highlights, the summary, the good things, and then the risks about the company. You've then got the share price, so all of the things around the share price that might be sort of worthy of your attention. You can see here it talks about whether the share price is stable, the volatility over time of the share price, and obviously you've got the graph here. And then it's got notable events at the bottom, so you can see exec board change and stuff like that. You've got market performance, 7-day, 1 year, return versus industry, return versus market. You've got the shareholder returns compared to the industry and markets, and long-term price volatility. Now, this is another interesting one, is the valuation. So you've got the fair value that they think the company is, what the current price is, and whether it's over or under valued. And then they make it very clear sort of here. And obviously the PE ratio here at the top, and then compared to the industry and the market. So again, absolutely love this because it saves you from calculating these things yourself, and it actually compares them for you as well, which is really, really cool, because with things like PE ratio, it's really important not to look at it in isolation. You should always compare it to the industry and similar companies. PEG ratio, again, price to book ratio, future growth forecasts. So are they forecast to grow? If so, how much? So you can see here it's based on estimates from 20 analysts. So it's not just like one person saying, I think this is going to grow. And then it compares it to the industry and market forecast growth as well. Earnings per share growth, future return on equity, past performance. Honestly, this place just has so much information. Analysis, return on equity, assets, capital employed, the financial health as well, which is assets versus liabilities, debt to equity ratio, which again is really important, all the balance sheet stuff, and the dividends. So upcoming dividend payments, dividend yield versus the market. So it tells you whether it's higher or lower than the top 25 and bottom 25% of companies in the market that it's in. Stability of dividends, so whether they've been volatile or not, and whether they've been growing or not. Payout ratios, future payouts, and then details about the management and ownership of the company. So again, a lot of data. So the next one is Yahoo Finance. So this one is not paid for. Essentially, you go on here and you've got all sorts of things. So you've got news, you've got market data that you can look at, all sorts. So I'm becoming more and more familiar with this page and starting to use it more and more in almost like daily life. So not just for stock research, but just to kind of know what's going on. But when you do want to research a stock, you basically sort of go here, and if we go for Unilever again, you can see here that you basically type in the ticker symbol and you again get a whole load of data. So you've got a summary here which shows you all the share price data, the market cap, the PE ratio, the earnings per share, forward dividend and yield, ex-dividend dates. You've got the statistics here, which has all the valuation measures, highlights, share statistics, stock price history, historical data, analysis here, which, okay, Unilever might have been a bad one to pick, but for some of the stocks here, you've got the estimates, but for some of them, obviously, this actually has data. Financials, which show you things like their income statement, balance sheet, cash flow. So this is important to have a look at. So what I like here is that it's really easy to compare to prior years. So you literally can go 17, 18, 19, 20. How has it changed over the last few years? Not gonna lie, looking at this gives me almost PTSD-like feelings about my qualifications. But let's move on. The next place I look at is eToro. So you guys know I've been using eToro. I've got my own investments in there and stuff, so I do need to actually do a portfolio update on that. But they also have really good stock analysis on there. So as an example, if we choose, for example, Johnson & Johnson this time, so if we go into the company, you can see here that on the page of the company, you've got something called research and stats. So when we go on the stats, you can see here you've got the ranges, the market cap, the PE ratio, the earnings per share, the dividend and its yield. And obviously the chart here, which you can say like 3 years max, etc. The financial summary, which gives you the gross margin, the operating margin, net profit margin, and return on investment, as well as a quick look at the revenue and net income graph here, which I think is really cool. I like seeing things in visuals. And you can sort of toggle between income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow. Now, if we go on research, this is what I really like as well. It's again those analyst ratings. So it tells you here that the analyst consensus at this point in time for Johnson & Johnson is strong buy. So 11 different analysts in the last 3 months have said that Johnson & Johnson is a strong buy in their opinion. So over here it tells you the price targets. So you can see here that the low estimate is $175. And the high estimate is $200, with the average being $189. So obviously that's $20 more than the current $166 price. Down here, it basically tells you the different analysts and where they've come from and the date of their rating. So you can sort of view all and see everyone who's said this. It shows you the hedge fund activity as well, which obviously it's a very sensitive topic right now, so let's not get into that. It also tells you about insider transactions, but I don't really get too much into that. So I'm going to go on my phone for the next two, and that's because the other two are app-based. So the next one is Genuine Impact. You've seen me talk about this before. It's a relatively new app, but it keeps becoming better and better as time goes on. So if you do want to see like the full sort of talk through that I did of the app, feel free, it's on my profile. But essentially this again is just another resource that puts it really simply. So if we go to Discover here and look for, let's stick with Johnson & Johnson again. You can see here that you can toggle here where it says out of on what you want to compare it to. So do you want to compare it to all the stocks that they have on the app, or do you want to compare it to, for example, a certain sector? So do we want to compare it only to the healthcare sector, for example, or the consumer staples sector, etc. And then once you've chosen your filters, it basically would show you the quality, value, and momentum for its position against the metrics that you've chosen. So if we choose, for example, the healthcare sector, you can see here the numbers change. So the quality, value, and momentum has gone up massively because you're only comparing it to healthcare. Now, what I really like here is that when you go on the checklist, it just shows really, really clearly, or clearly, cleanly, whatever you want to call it, where it falls, whether it's top, neutral, or fail against each of these topics. So you've got quality, value, momentum, blah, 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 size, expected return, accounting strength, dividend cover, etc. So is it good or is it bad? And then a few more details underneath, sort of the quality, you can see profitability is very high, the financial strength is weak, the capital allocation is sound. Value, it's considered very cheap at the moment here. So again, you can already see Johnson & Johnson on eToro was said to be a strong buy because of the price ratings, price targets being much higher, and here it's considered very cheap at the moment. So considering both of these are rating it fairly good, so you've got the momentum here is strong and stuff like that, that automatically will mean to me that this is probably a good buy at the moment. I do think they're also introducing the ex-dividend dates into this app probably in the next month or so, so that's really cool as well. I do have links to all of these down below, and with the Genuine Impact one, if you use my link, then we both get a month of premium, because I believe they have like free and premium. So obviously what you're seeing here is premium. I'm not gonna lie, I don't actually know what the difference is anymore. Because I got this so long ago, I don't remember what the difference was in the free model, but what I have here, I really, really like. So yeah, that's that one. So the final tool that I use is the Stake app. So Stake is obviously a platform to actually buy shares on. It is geared towards the US stock market investments, so you won't be able to research the London Stock Exchange stuff on here, but they are geared more towards US investments. Again, I do have a video going into more detail about them, but essentially if you do sign up to the premium version of the app, similar as Simply Wall Street and Genuine Impact, you will get access to additional stuff, and as part of that you get analyst ratings. So this is what I would do. So again, let's go for Johnson & Johnson. So you can see here you've got obviously the charts, as you do everywhere. So you can see here it gives you sort of the number of trades and a number of people watching, the dividend yields, the PE ratio, so all these sort of things. Once again, you've got the news about the company, which is really cool as well, because again it brings the news about the particular company into one place. And then you've got the analyst ratings again, so you can see here 100% of their analyst ratings so far since the 13th of December have said that Johnson & Johnson is a buy. So I really like seeing analyst ratings because they know far more about me and they will always go into way more detail than I will. So I like seeing those. And you do go back here, or scroll down rather, and you've got again a lot more stuff. So you've got the earnings, the EPS, the balance sheets. You can click and see full financials, which again, similar to Yahoo Finance, you can go sort of quarterly here and compare how they've changed, which is really, really cool. But I just really like to use the analyst ratings. So that's pretty much it. Those are the main things that I use to research stocks when I'm trying to decide whether a company is worth investing my money into. Like I said, I will do a follow-up video just talking about the things that are important to me personally, and I will try to get that out within the next couple of weeks. Hopefully this has been useful. If you want to check out any of the things I've said, the links will be down below for ease, and that's pretty much it. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time. Bye.